Hi, I'm here with the EPLA Task Team today, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their recent project. Well, hi guys.
Hey,
You
James.
recently were challenged with a large task of liquidating a portfolio for an investor. Tell us a little bit about the client, why they were selling, and what the challenges were.
Well, this one was a complicated one. We were contacted by a financial company they were interviewing different realtors and teams to try to find their client a good resource to exchange her 18 residential properties and exchange them into one. And it was complicated because there were some multifamily homes. A lot of them were single family, but they were all in different cities, different jurisdictions. All of them were tenant occupied. So there was a lot of challenges there in managing the tenants and protecting our clients and making sure that we sell them for top dollar and make sure that they all close at the same time. That was the biggest challenge.
That sounds like a large task to undertake.
Definitely, but we had a great team.
Can you tell us what a 1031 exchange is?
A 1031 exchange enables a rental property owner to defer their capital gains taxes onto another property. By doing the 1031 exchange, there are complexities such as strict timelines that, and we need, an accommodator. A lot of times we have attorneys, assisting with the tax laws, but it's because of the strict timelines. It's very complicated, but with multiple properties to close at the same time, it multiplies that complexity. So it was a huge ordeal.
So Sandy, you mentioned that you had all different types of buyers that were interested in ultimately purchase these properties. You had investors and end users that were buying it for a primary residence. Tell us about the different buyers and their qualifications.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned, there were 18 different properties. 16 of them were single-family homes. 2 of them were multi-unit. And so, yeah, we had a variety of different buyers. We had investors that came in with liquid cash ready to go. We had hard money investors. We had end users that we were able to get them into their first time ever owning a home, which was fantastic. We even had FHA as well as VA buyers, which, as you know, there are different challenges that are involved with each type of buyer. Typically an end user, no matter what kind of loan it is, conventional, FHA, even if they're cash, are a little bit more open to taking on to the consideration that they're going to be there a while. They don't have a certain budget that they have to adhere to as strictly as an investor would. Whereas ones that were looking to just fix and flip and kind of have a short time where they're going to hold on to the property, they have very specific budgets that they're working with. So we had quite a variety of buyers involved with that, which was interesting. Really, it was quite fun, though, because of the 18, we had 4 that did end up purchasing that were tenants, which was quite unusual.
That's amazing. You know, that's the American dream as to home ownership, and I'm sure you really made an impact in their lives by them able to purchase the property that they were renting.
It was great. Like I said before, some of them had been there for 10 plus years. So the idea of them purchasing a home, I think, was kind of foreign to them. So when they realized that it was actually a possibility, first of all, that they were qualified, and we did have them cross-qualify with another lender just to make sure that they were going to successfully close. But then to be able to say, hey, yes, we're going to accept your offer. And of course, we built in some protections for the seller, because the seller was doing an exchange, and we had timelines and stuff that we had to adhere to. But overall, it was pretty exciting to know that they were going to now be homeowners of the property that they've been living in and enjoying all this time.
So Ken and Sandy, 18 escrows all opened at the same time with a variety of different buyers. Has to be challenging. How did you stay organized? How did you communicate? And how did you pull that off?
It's amazing, James. It was a lot to think about at first, but once we took the big picture and took it down to the daily task, it kind of all fell in place with the team and everybody's input. We had definitive scheduled team meetings. Multiple times a week. We had weekly scheduled meetings with the financial advisor for the client, and we just had all our notes taken before on every specific property, what was needed in the file, what is it going to take to get it to escrow closing, and I'll let Sandy jump in here too.
So Sandy, there's a lot of city reports. You mentioned their properties were in multiple cities. You have a lot of disclosures on each property. How did you handle all of that with the investor?
Absolutely. So the biggest part of it was, first of all, we had to view all of the properties, make sure that we knew what we were getting into. But of course, we knew that we would have a very strict timeline. So we had, as my teammates had mentioned, we had a very set schedule, not only meeting with the seller and their financial advisor, but also within our team. We had a list of, obviously, our checklists of what we need to do to complete a transaction. We knew that we needed to reduce any contingencies once we did get a buyer secured. So a lot of things were done proactively, such as completing seller disclosures before most of the properties even came on the market. Obviously, this is an overwhelming undertaking for the seller. In many cases, the seller had not even been in the property in a decade or more. So it was a lot of questions, a lot of time. The seller is not extremely tech savvy, so a lot of it was done sitting side by side in the conference room. We were blessed with having a project manager that helped to facilitate it, as well as a very strong transaction coordinator with escrow background who was able to double check us and make sure we weren't missing anything and keeping things even more organized than we could possibly imagine, which is Jackie, which we could never have done without her.
That sounds great.
So it was quite an undertaking, but we did have, we had a really good routine where there was kind of like a set pattern of how we handled it. Offers all came in through the same platform. We met about them regularly. They were uploaded on a spreadsheet. We reviewed them repeatedly. And in some cases, on some properties, we had as many as 20 offers. So going through and making sure we had them all, that we understood which one was better, which one was not, why, how it would work in with our timeline, things like that. So we were really very fortunate that everybody kind of brought in their expertise to facilitate this as well.
Sounds challenging, and it sounds like you did a great job.